You have cancer. 3 words that change a life forever. We would like to offer another 3 words. Be an overcomer. Welcome to the 1% Podcast, where our conversations with other cancer warriors, survivors, and caregivers allows us to give you that extra boost you need to face your challenge head on, live life from a new perspective, and forge a path that keeps you moving free and clear. Now, welcome your host and cancer survivor, Truett Taylor.
Welcome to today's episode of the 1% Podcast, the show where we interview young adults who are battling or surviving an unexpected cancer diagnosis. You are not alone, and I promise, by consuming today's content, your soul will be fed with the hope, courage, and inspiration you need to keep fighting for today. I'm excited to be on your journey with you today. If you haven't done so already, be sure to head over to 1percentpodcast.com to sign up for our email list to see the latest news and updates for all our guests on the show. You can also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at 1% Podcasts. If you want to join in on some of our discussions, please join our Facebook group, the 1% Podcasts. To contact me directly for content, questions, or booking events, you can email me at info@1percentpodcast.com. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 58 of the 1% Podcast. We are back with another exciting episode with an extremely talented guest today, Miss Shauna Madinah. Shauna's story and the song that she wrote is one of the moments that I'll never forget the first time I heard it. I was at a cancer benefit in Nashville, and I heard this amazing singer that totally stopped me in my tracks. And the more I listened to the song, I could tell it was related to a moment or a scenario that she had with her aunt. And the song that she wrote and the way she sings it is, oh man, it could be like the theme for all of us cancer warriors, survivors, caregivers, even providers as well too. You guys will connect with this song in a powerful way, and it will speak to you. And one amazing thing about the song that she sings and the story that she tells today is it gives you like chill bumps, but also just overwhelms you with calmness and a peace and a joy. And I'm so excited to be able to bring Shauna's story, and she actually performs her song Angel's Lullaby with us today. So super excited to get into that. But as always, before we get into our interview, let's go over today's 1% moment of truth. Today's 1% moment of truth is about footholds. Now, a foothold, if you think of, you're trying to get into a door and someone puts their foot in the door so they can't completely close the door on you. That's the first thing I think of when I think of a foothold. And it's really easy in life for your mind and, for, I guess, enemies out there to really get a foothold into your life. And if we can get tricked into doubting in one area, the enemy can really set up a foothold which can lead to a stronghold, which can cause us to lose hope and become depressed. And I think about times in my life where one small moment that I allowed myself to elaborate on or to fantasize about or really to change my mindset can really engulf you with very negative emotions and very negative thoughts and a negative mindset, which can lead you to being around the wrong people, making the wrong decisions. So my 1% moment of truth for everyone today is for you guys to just really be aware of the small things in life, the things that look small, that can completely divert and change your trajectory if you follow them, because footholds can become strongholds, which can really lead to depression, anxiety, bad decisions. So keep your mind, keep your heart guarded from the wrong situations, the wrong people, the wrong mindsets, and really provide yourself with the opportunity to take a step back and really guard who you are, guard your heart, guard your soul from the wrong people. I think you guys will really benefit tremendously from that. But that's a day-to-day thing. So, we're always being sought out to be diverted to the wrong direction, the wrong way. So think about that today in each situation, each person you meet. Is this person or is this situation going to create a foothold that's going to lead to like a stronghold of something negative in my life? And definitely choose the right decision. So with that being said, let's get into my interview with Miss Shauna Madinah. Shauna's so amazing, guys. I can't tell you enough how wonderful she is, how just just talking to her, have you ever spoken to someone before and immediately you're like, we're best friends? That's kind of the situation I had with her. And I'm just so excited. I see all the amazing things that God's doing in her life through her music, just growing her, and just from getting to know her even more, really leading her down a positive, strong path that she probably has no idea how amazing it's going to be in the future. But it's one of those things where we actually get to catch her on the beginning side of that. And you'll see during our interview, she's full of love, full of joy, full of positivity. And, in her song that she sings, it's just truly amazing. I'm going to stop rambling now. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and listen to my interview with Miss Shauna Madinah.
I have singer, songwriter, producer, philanthropist, Miss Shauna Madinah on the show. Shauna, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the show.
I'm excited to be here, for sure.
So Shauna and I met, 3-4 weeks ago? Something like that. It's been a couple of weeks. Met in Nashville at the Crying Wolf at the Josh Powell Foundation benefit concert. And I think I know I told you this already, but I was there with one of my friends, and I think it was closer towards the end of the whole benefit. And someone started singing, and it literally like stopped me in my tracks. And I turned around, and I was like, Steven, like, who is that? And then we heard you singing, and I was just like chill bumps and like everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this person is like, I don't know. It's like everything that you, like every word you sang, I was just like, man, this is to the soul. I've got to meet this person. So came up and spoke to you afterwards. We had a good chance to connect, and we've connected a few times since then. But I'm so excited to have you on the show because, your song, Angel's Lullaby, is tied to the cancer community. So I'm really excited, our guests, to hear about you, hear the song. I know you got a special performance planned for us in a little bit as well too. So everyone that's listening, you got something to look forward to with that. But Shauna, why don't you start off by telling everyone a little bit about who you are and maybe where you grew up?
Okay. Well, first of all, I was trying not to cry. I was like, thank you very much. That's very sweet of you to say all of that. I'm very humbled, and I'm super honored to be just even on the show and in your presence, and to shine a light on this community and cancer in general, definitely through the avenues where I guess I fit in. I guess that's where I fit in the gifts that I have to try to make a difference in the world, right? But thank you, first of all. First and foremost, I'm grateful. Originally I'm from Northern California. So I was born in Berkeley, across the bay from San Francisco. And then I was raised in the East Bay in a town called like Walnut Creek. Most people don't know where Walnut Creek is, but it's about 15 minutes east of Berkeley. And then I grew up there, and then I lived also in LA for years when I graduated high school. So I moved down to LA and did the whole music scene down there, and writing and performing. And actually, entertainment has been my entire life, to be honest. I started singing when I was 3, and I started songwriting when I was like 7, probably 6 or 7.
Wait, so how do you write a song when you're 6 or 7 years old?
I don't know. I mean, I just had all these crazy like lyrics and melodies in my head, and I literally remember I have notebooks that are like cupcakes, like like little kitty notebooks and stuff. So I had all these little funny like little notebooks, and I found them I still have them years later. Candy Cane Lane. It's one of my first songs. I'm just kidding. No, but I guess it's an outlet for you, and I found as a child, when you're misunderstood and you're trying to understand life, music was just always an outlet for me, and something that I knew from a very, very young age that I didn't want to do anything else, basically.
Yeah.
So
you and I've talked about music a lot as far as how has so many like healing properties to it. What has music done for you, let's say, through some of the most difficult times in your life?
Oh man. I'm like, oh man, so many things, like, it's been like I said, an outlet for me to heal the things within, like, even if I didn't sing it out loud, if I got it out in a song and I sang it to myself in my room, there's something magical that happens about, I don't know if it's like because it came from you and it came through the source. I look at it like it comes through the source.
Yeah.
Like I'm a vessel. I'm like, I'm just a vessel. Hey. But you know, everything comes down, and it's hard to explain that feeling when you do receive it, but it's very surreal. And so I'm a firm believer that all music, and as a songwriter and singer, like when you get a song, it's usually for a purpose in time of some sort. I've had songs come to me that were for me in that moment, and when I would sing it, it would make me feel better and it would heal my heart, right? I've also had a song come to me that was like, wow, this is interesting. I don't know what this is, but it's deep, right?
Yeah.
And then like 4 years later, the song caught up. Like actually, I caught up to the song, and like I'd gone back and like listened to songs, and basically it was relevant for that time in my life, and then it healed a piece of me then, or others. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you know, it's funny. We talk about that. I've spoken about this before about how you just have to be available for that song to get there too. You know, it's one of those things where if you're not paying attention, if you're not open, if you're not, I guess, in other words, almost like obedient in a way, like you don't get those things. And I like to talk about that with a lot of the guests that I have as far as receiving like blessings and all these other things. Blessings are always something we don't deserve, I would say, in a lot of ways. We may want it to happen. It may happen sooner or later, or sometimes maybe even a lot later than we anticipated or wanted to happen. But I always feel like the more available you are, like the more opportunities you're going to have to do things, and or just to receive like positive things, because people talk about mindset a lot. I'm a firm believer in mindset. Mindset's not everything, but it's definitely a part of the recipe for success. And, if you have your mind on great things, if you have your mind on positive and good things, there's really no room for as much bad kind of coming through. So that's one thing I love about your story. And when we talked about, receiving a song, like you were there, your hands were open, your mind was open to receive it. And if your mind would have been closed, or your hands would have been closed, you probably wouldn't have received it. So I love that story. I love the way you described that. And as far as a gift that you've gotten, I know, like I said, the show, we talk to a lot of cancer patients, a lot of people who have been affected by the cancer community. I know you had a relative, I think it was your aunt, who was diagnosed with leukemia. Why don't you tell us a little bit about her and her story?
Okay. My aunt, yes, that's correct. My aunt's name was Darla Kraslow, and yeah, she was diagnosed with, this was recent, she was like a mother to me. A background of how our connection was. She lived with us when we were little. She's my mom's younger sister. So she came and like hung out with us. She'd take me and my brother shopping. She'd be like, don't tell your mom. She'd like buy us. Like, I'm convinced that like my certain fashion likeness or sense of whatever is because of her, for sure. Cause she's like, I was like always matchy and stuff. And she totally fed into that, but she was just, one of my closest people on the planet. We were very intuitively connected. Like I am with my mother. Like I would think of something and she called me, or it's like those kind of things, So, and she was one of my biggest supporters in music, like just always there for everything that I can think of. Would call me and encourage me to keep going. And just, she was very spiritual. And so she was just like a rock. She was like a rock in my life. It was like my mom, my dad, there's just certain people that are rocks. And she was definitely one of those for me. So she had got diagnosed. Well, it wasn't this past December, but the December before that, we were all together. Mm-hmm. And we were there for Christmas. And, we were all hanging out, and she was going up and down the stairs, and she was like having problems breathing. She was like super winded by the time she got to the top of the stairs. My mom was like, Darla, that's not normal. Like, what's up with that? She's like, I don't know. It's really strange. Like, I've been working out, like she's like, what's going on? So my mom really pushed the issue. because my mom was like noticing weird little things that weren't normal, you know, because she knows her sister. And so she pushed her to go get tested. And sure enough, her white, like I guess when she went and got her blood work done, her white cell counts and everything were so low. And she was a counselor for school, for like high schools and stuff. And she would help a lot of the children mentally and everything. And so, and she, mindset warrior, you know, she had that mindset, you know? And yeah, they're like, don't touch anything. They literally were like, don't touch anything. Don't go to school. You need to go to the hospital. We need to get you in treatment. Basically, you have like zero immune system to fight with. And so she's like, what? So through a series of tests, they found out she had AML, leukemia. I'm like trying to get the right one. But yeah, so she had leukemia. And I think she got diagnosed, I believe, in January, early February. And it was just a shock, you know, a shock to all of us. But I tell you, we call her Darla the Warrior Princess because her spirit through the whole process was extremely, like I've never seen such a resilient soul. Mm-hmm. Like she was just never say die to her last breath. Like she was on a breath, like a, what do they call those machines? The breathalytor, the ventilator. And she was, you know, we were waiting for her counts to get to a certain level so they could do a transplant, you know, toward the end. And she was still putting up her fist like this, like, hey, I'm not giving up, you know? So she was just one of those never say die, never give up attitudes in human beings. And just really blessed to have her in my life the time that I did. But that goes into the receiving of the song, I guess. I don't know if you want me to go into that yet or not.
Yeah, sure. So let's talk about your aunt a little bit. Like, what do you, those characteristics you describe her of being a warrior, where do you think that came from? Is that something that she experienced a lot of things maybe in life that helped make her strong and lead her down that path? Or what was it that you feel like made her such a powerful person?
I mean, honestly, she went through a couple extremely crazy relationships, and one was just very hard, dealing with alcoholism and substance abuse from her spouse, which was abusive in different ways. And she basically raised my cousins, Kristen and Andrew, on her own in a single mother mentality, and just sort of like was paving the way for them. Everything she did was to benefit them. And she just had to be strong from that. You know, it's kind of like similar stories you hear with women having to just have all of the weight on them.
Right.
And when it's like that, you're like in survival mode, and you learn how to be a warrior regardless. So, I mean, that makes sense why she was such a warrior, even with battling the leukemia, because like that's all she knew how to be, really, because it just wasn't easy for her in any sense of the word, I guess.
So say you're a collection, I guess, that you take on the characteristics of the people that you're around the most. What type of characteristics do you feel like you pulled from her just by seeing her journey going through leukemia?
Good question. Strength, definitely hope. She had an immense amount of hope. And I mean, I remember her like when I was in Nashville, we would FaceTime a lot. You know, she'd be in the hospital because she was just kind of like bored, you know, like, okay, 3 a.m. She knew I was up late from shows and stuff. And one of the things I remember having a conversation with her, and she was just so full of faith. Yeah. So like a certain amount of faith that's like, no matter what God has for me. I mean, I remember her telling me, Shauna, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. This is scary, right? She goes, but it could be the end. And then like, even for me to hear her say that, I was like, no, don't say that. You know, like, what do you mean? But she goes, it could be the end. And if it is, then I'm okay with that. You know, it was almost like she was just so like, I have no choice. She had no choice. I could feel her fear though. The one thing I did feel from her too is also that she didn't want to, she wasn't ready to go, as far as she had to be content with the decision, because it's not, you don't have a choice. Right. But she loved all of us so much. She was fighting because she didn't really want to leave. So the characteristics I would take from her is being content with God's will, type of mindset, like hope, faith, strength, courage. She had a lot of courage in many ways. And just for her to face something with so much positivity. I never heard her be negative. I heard her be worried sometimes when things wouldn't go right because she was running out of time. It was a timing thing. Everything was a timing thing with her counts being okay with the transplant. They had to be at a certain level to get the transplant and it was such a delicate system.
Right.
So you know how it goes with the treatments and the chemos and all that.
So during her sickness, something happened. You received a special song. Tell us about that circumstance. And, I know you talked about, we talked a little bit about before how, like, when you first heard it, you're like, I don't know, is this something that I want to share? Is this, why am I getting this? Tell us that story about you actually receiving this song.
Okay. It kind of goes back to like having to be open to receive it, right? What you were saying earlier. So this was an interesting experience to me. I've gotten songs where like you receive them and in your sleep and you have to wake up and you like write it down, right? This one, I was getting ready to go out. It was a Friday night and I was like ready to go, right? And I was like, okay, let me go. I'm about to walk up the door. And all of a sudden, I mean, it legit was like the most surreal, intense songwriting, surrender experience I've had yet. I literally had to surrender. Like it was, that's the only way to describe it. So it was like incoming, like it was just, I stopped, my mind started getting flooded with like lyrics and melodies. And it's the first time a song has, I got the lyrics, the melodies, the guitar chords, everything all at once. So it was like a lot. It was a lot. And usually you'll get like a melody first and then you can fill in the lyrics. And it was just like, whew. And also what it felt like to me was all of a sudden I could hear all of her thoughts. I could hear my aunt's thoughts. It was very strange. It was like I could hear her thoughts. I could feel her worry. I could feel her fear. It was as if I was put inside of her body. And it freaked me out. I was just like, I don't know what this is. So I'm crying because I'm just like, this is crazy. I don't know how to receive this, And so what I did was I started rejecting it because I was fearful that she was going to pass, that she would die if I received the song and sang it to her, because there was 2 accounts of really close people to me that I sang a song to right when they were sick and they died. Mm-hmm. So my mind went to the stigma of if I receive this and sing it to her, she's going to die. So I wish someone had a camera that night on the wall, like a fly on the wall, because honestly, I was crying and I was like, not this one, not her. Like I was like yelling at the air and I was like, not her, I'll take it back. And there's nothing you can do when it's coming in. It's hard to explain, right? But I just had to surrender and be like, okay, I have no choice. I'm going to receive the song, but I still don't want to sing it to her because I don't want this to happen, but I did receive it, finished the song. I told my mom about it. I didn't tell Darla about it. And I was even kind of scared to sing it to my mom. Until an experience happened. I had the song done for maybe like a week and a half. And I'll just tell this story really quick, unless you want to say something else.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I've never, the power of healing with music, right? So I had the song. I was like scared to sing it to her. I got a feeling like it's one of those intuitive feelings, like I was saying I have with her and my mother, that something was wrong. So I FaceTime her and she doesn't answer. I knew my mom was at the hospital with her that weekend. So I call my mom and she doesn't answer. And I was like, okay, something's wrong. This isn't normal, and my mom calls me back about an hour later on her phone on FaceTime. And my mom's face is white. It looks like she saw a ghost or something. And then all I can hear is my aunt screaming and crying in the background. And I'm like, what is going on? She's like, we just need prayers right now. And I'm like, but what's happening? I don't get it, And so then she my aunt hears my voice and she goes, "Is that Shauna?" And she's like crying at the same time as she puts the phone up to where I can see her, and I can, and I was trying to like say funny stuff to like take her mind off of the pain or something like that, because I didn't want to sing the song. But in my mind, I'm going, God, what can I do to make her feel better? I guess she was having a reaction from the chemo, and it was sending like shooting pains into her stomach. So she was having a really, really intense reaction. And so anyway, I was like, I'm going to have to sing the song to her. And I kept hearing a voice like, sing the song. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, sing the song. So I'm like, okay. So I go get my guitar, and I'm like, okay, I have a song for you. I'm going to sing. And I didn't tell her what the song was. I didn't tell her I wrote it for her or anything. I realized with the lyrics coming in, when it was incoming, that it was about her, because everything was about her in the lyrics.
Right.
And it was a song for her. But I didn't want to tell her in that moment. So I start singing the song, and she starts to be able to breathe sort of normal. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, my mom was even like witness to it. She was like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that. And she was like, oh my gosh, that song is so beautiful. What song is that? And I didn't want to tell her the song. I was like, just listen. So I played it all the way through. And by the time I was like to the end of the song, it was as if her whole body calmed down, like as if someone gave her morphine. It was like so crazy. And then she's like, I don't know what song that is, but can you sing it again? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I knew in that moment, I sang it through again, and similar reaction. She was completely calm. Her tears were gone. Her pain was gone. Like, oh, and she goes, it was as if you were saying my story. Like it was like you were saying what I'm thinking. And I'm like, yeah, I know, kind of, because that's what I could hear when it was coming in, right? I'm like, yeah, I know. It's weird. And then when I told her, and I was like, well, that's a song I wrote for you, Auntie, that's a song. And she started crying, but they were different tears, and it was like tears of joy and appreciation. And she just said that's the most beautiful song she's ever heard, and it helped her so much. And then she's like, can you send that to me? So I recorded the song, and I sent it to her in an MP3, and she listened to it every day. And she would call me, and she'd say, like, you created a voice for me, because you were saying all the things that I was too scared to say. So, and she would call me and leave me messages just saying how much it helped her on the daily, how it helped her spirit, how it helped her mindset. So I realized out of the fear I was feeling when I was receiving it, that the song was a gift. It wasn't about me. I had to take myself out of the equation and look at it like, this is a gift for her, in turn also a gift to the world, if it can relate to others in that way.
Right.
And it did, because she was so proud of the song. She would play it for like everyone in the cancer in the building, in the cancer ward, or whatever they call that area. And then she would play it to the nurses. And like when I would go to visit her, they were like, oh, you're the singer. And I'm like, yeah. And it was cool. And then I had other people that she had like became friends with, and she switched like 5 different hospitals, and it was a lot of hospitals she was jumping through, and she would share it with everyone. And some of them ended up reaching out to me saying the similar thing. They're like, this song healed a void in me that I didn't know, because I was a cancer survivor. And so I just had no idea that it was going to have that impact. And I just realized that that song it's a song of purpose. So I feel blessed to be a vessel that it came through, but I'm very aware that it's not about me. Does that make sense? So I was able to put it out before on iTunes and Spotify, and release it before she passed away, unfortunately, October 17th, this 2018, this past year. But I was able to get it out before she was like happy about that. She like put her fist up, and she gave me an I love you, and I told her that it was out. So, and the video is coming out soon too. And she is the video. Basically, I was able to go in and record really great footage of her when she was alive. And it's pretty deep, but it's going to be really cool, because I told her Yeah,
Can't
it's a
wait.
rough one. I watch it and I like cry because she's all throughout the video,
Yeah.
and her legacy lives on, and the fight and the struggle lives on that she went through, and it's not in vain.
Yeah. I think for me, it resonated for sure. Obviously, when you sing, there's certain lines. There's one line in particular where you say something like, "Don't worry about me. I'm in God's hands."
Yeah.
So happiness happiness is situational, right? You have a great day at work, things go well, you're happy, right? Peace is something that transcends like just emotion. It's more of a state of being. And that statement, "Don't worry about me, I'm in God's hand," is a peaceful statement. And because when you're sick, everyone's worried about you. Everyone's concerned. Everyone wants you to get better. Everyone doesn't want you to feel pain, but that's an emotion that they take on. And, the very fact that the sick person tells everyone else, "Don't worry about me," that's a way of really like expressing that, trying to like give that peace out to the people that are actually around you. And it's a very selfless thing to say to people who, are part of your family, but it just speaks to the type of person that obviously that she was, which I think is amazing. Well, I don't know why I'm like prolonging this performance that we're about to have, but why don't you take a quick second, get ready, and we'll let you sing this Angel's Lullaby song to everyone, okay?
Okay, awesome. I would love to.
Beauty queen turning 58. She looks in the mirror, says, "Is it too late?" Hair is falling down the drape, with that medicine running right through her veins. She said, "Oh my Lord, all I need. My heart feels broken, I can't sleep. Oh my Lord, don't wanna say goodbye. And please don't let them see me cry. So Lord, all I need's an angel's lullaby. So won't you please send me an angel's lullaby? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Her nights are long, her days combined. Looks back in her mind to those long summer nights. Faded love, sweet glasses of wine. Sees a life well lived, a taste divine. She said, "Oh my Lord, all I need. My heart feels broken, I can't sleep. Oh my Lord, don't wanna say goodbye. And please don't let them see me cry. So Lord, all I need's an angel's lullaby. So won't you please send me an angel's lullaby? Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's sick, can't walk, her daughter takes her hand. With tears in her eyes, Mama, help you stand. She said, "Don't worry about me, child, I'm in God's hands. Just love the life you live, soon you'll understand. Oh my Lord, all I need. My heart feels broken, I can't sleep. send me, please send me an angel's lullaby. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. That's for you.
Man.
Oh. Man, that song just
Amazing. So like
whew.
Unreal.
It's like I feel something every time I sing it. I feel something like in the core of me, like, and it's so hard for me to get through that song without crying because I believe it's her spirit and her soul, you know. So it's just it's as if she lives in the song, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for the song too because I'm flooded with memories and good memories of her, and I can feel her when I sing it too. So it's just like it's really special. And what's crazy is the night that she passed away, we were all around her. We had her in a hospice situation, and her husband had made like a 2-hour playlist of her favorite music. And I didn't, you know, I knew Angel's Lullaby was in there somewhere, but, you know, I didn't know where it was. And so her hands were turning blue. And so we knew it was like close. So we all go down there and we all have our hands on her and the songs are playing. And my body starts having a reaction like I can't really breathe that well. And simultaneously her son has a reaction and her daughter and my mother. And in that moment, Angel's Lullaby comes on. Just magically, right? And about 30 seconds in or so is when she took her last breath. And so it was like all of us were feeling that at the same time. And then that song was playing like where her spirit was at peace enough to go out of the how many songs were on the playlist. You know, it was just there's something very special about that it's connected with her like that song specifically, you know?
Yeah.
And it's moments like that you just go, okay, God, I see you, you know, you're just like, so many things, but
all the situations like winks from God, you know, where it's like,
yeah,
you know, like I'm here, I'm in control, you know, all this, even though it's sad, there is a lot of peace knowing that it's out of our hands in a way. And, I love that. That's you never shared that detail with me that was the song playing when she passed away. That was it's even more amazing, I guess, with the whole situation. So I absolutely love that. So I told you this before, but you know, your Spotify number just went up here in Atlanta when I heard that song and I came home and like listened to it and played it for all my friends.
Hey,
you're gonna hear this song now, and all the people who, you know, every month we have thousands of people listen to this podcast, and you know, it's going to be in the show. It's going to be a part of the 1% podcast, which to me is a huge honor. And you know, it's one of those situations where when I went to Nashville, I knew I was going for one of my friends, you know, for Fabi and the situation and the foundation and stuff that she has, and just being selfless and going and participating in stuff. And you don't know why you go. Things work out the way they work out.
Right.
But on the way home, my friend that went with me, Steven, he was driving on the way home, and I actually made him listen to your song a couple of times. It was kind of weird, two guys in the car listening to the same song over and over on repeat. But it's all right, whatever. We're bigger guys.
I'm honored. Yeah.
But but
awesome. That's awesome, by the way. I didn't know that fact, but that's great.
He I was just telling him, I was like, this is why I was here. You know, this is the main reason why I was here, was to connect with someone like you and just be opened up to all the great things that you're about. And I won't forget our conversation that we had as well too. I knew that after seeing you and talking to you, I was like, this should be perfect to speak to all the cancer people out there, the people that experience that are actually going through cancer. Because there's playlists floating around out there for cancer patients, and I'd love for your song to be a part of that. And then also survivors too. Like, your song touches everything. You know, when you talk about medicine going through the veins. I'm like, gosh, that like brings back so many memories of sitting there and being pumped full of chemo. And
Wow.
then, the family and stuff as well that you mentioned, like, and all the things that we've talked about so far, it really touches the, I guess the patient, the family, and even like survivors as well too. And it's something that really resonates throughout. And so many people can pull so many different things from your song. That's why I wanted everyone to hear it and to give you a platform to put it out there. And everyone that's listening right now, you guys, if you want to follow Shauna, you can, probably the best place is Instagram. I know you post a lot on Instagram. Enjoy all your videos and singing every day. And your confident awkwardness that you put out there.
On my story. I'm probably on the gram the most, honestly. I just express myself mostly there, but it's all just at Shaunamadinah, spelled the same way. Pretty much all my socials are the same all the way across the board.
That's spelled ShaunaMadinah.
Yes.
So Shaunamadinah on Instagram, Shaunamadinah.com. Go to iTunes, Spotify. She has links inside her Instagram to take you directly to those sites to download the single. Share the single with everyone. Those people that are out there right now that are listening to this are actually going through their battle. Listen to this song, take it to heart, know where it came from, know the lives it's touched. Let it, heal you, whether it's through a moment. And, healing isn't all, there's many levels of healing for sure, whether it's the entire thing or whether it's the healing through a moment. And I love the way this song can do both, honestly. But if it's healing you just through a moment right now, as you take that moment and be open, be available to receive that healing, to receive this song that was given to Shauna that she's sharing with the world now, and the video that's coming out. I can't wait to share that with everyone too. Don't make me cry like I'm a big baby over here. I cry at like videos all the time. I'm just one of those people that's sitting there in the corner while everybody's laughing. I'm like crying over like weird videos. But
I'm totally the same way.
But yeah, so you guys check out her single, check out the website, follow her on Instagram, send her a DM, let her know how much you appreciate the song, what it's done for you, maybe what type of cancer you're going through right now, how the song impacted you. Because music's one of those things where, people work so hard. You come up with so many songs and melodies and chords and everything, and you never know what's gonna pop and what's gonna put you on and what's gonna go through. But I really feel like this song speaks to the cancer community, and if we can start it from here and really get the word out, there's no telling where this is going to travel and heal, which was what it's intended to do anyways. Like that's why God gave that to you for people.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited for everyone to listen to it and to get to know Shauna a little bit today. Shauna, is there any parting words that you want to leave everyone with?
Oh man. Just how grateful I am for you first and foremost to have this platform and to just be able to share the story and to share the song, and for your love and belief and support. I'm so grateful. I hope you really know that. And I'm humbled. I'm very humbled. And for anyone listening that hears the song, yes, absolutely. I would love to hear from you and let me know what it's done for you, because as a singer-songwriter, we live for purpose. All of us have purpose in life, but for me personally, it fuels me and it drives me to know that it's touching and healing and doing something for humanity, because one of my greatest purposes is to be of service to humanity. And whether that's using all the gifts and talents that I have in any capacity, from music to philanthropy to my brain, mindset, whatever. And also, just so everybody knows, this song is truly a gift. So I am not taking one penny of the downloads or anything from the song. I vowed, even back when my aunt in front of her, that every single penny made from the song or download is going to either City of Hope or Cancer Research or any foundations that I can find to find a cure for cancer. So just know that any support that you show is going right back to heal the planet and to serve humanity. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you listening. I'm grateful to be here. And thank you so much. Love you all. Sending you love, sending you light, all the good stuff, healing,
Awesome. Thank you, Shauna.
We appreciate you spending time with us on today's episode and encourage you to continue the conversation to help you keep pushing forward. For more resources based on today's episode, as well as ways to recommend a guest and connect to Truett personally, head over to 1%podcast.com. Be sure to join us next time for more stories of inspiration right here with Truett Taylor on the 1% Podcast.